My friend, let me begin with this very ordinary moment that happens to almost everyone. You're in the middle of a conversation. The words are pouring out of you. The explanation, the clarification, the careful rephrasing so they will finally get it. Your voice is steady, but inside something is leaning forward. Reaching their eyes show a flicker of confusion or polite distance. And right then, instead of pushing harder, you notice yourself doing it. You notice the subtle tightening in your throat, the way your mind is already preparing the next sentence. The quiet urgency that says, if I just say it one more time, they'll understand. It's not dramatic. It's barely noticeable at first. Just that familiar internal pull. The old habit of needing to be seen exactly as you are. You catch it mid-breath. The automatic reaching. The small contraction when their face doesn't light up with recognition. In that single second of noticing, the whole moment shifts. You are no longer only inside the reaching. You are also watching the reaching happen. The need is still there, alive and breathing. But for one quiet instant, you see it clearly while it's moving. Not fixed, not solved, just seen. You've done this before. You've explained your feelings in circles until the other person looked tired. You've rewritten the text 3 times so it would land perfectly. You've stayed in conversations long after your energy was gone, still trying to make them understand. You felt the sting of being misread and immediately offered more words, more examples, more proof. Not because you chose to in that moment, because something older chose for you, quietly, automatically, before you even realized the need was steering. It's not a flaw. It's not who you are. It's simply a loop that is played so many times it feels like background music. You notice the melody now, the same 4 notes of reaching, explaining, hoping for that nod of recognition, not with judgment, just with a soft recognition. This again. You're sitting across from someone you love. You share something vulnerable. How their words landed, how you actually felt. The response is kind but slightly off, missing the heart of what you meant. The old conditioning rises instantly, the need to be understood. You start explaining again, adding details, giving examples, your voice becoming more precise, more careful. You lean in, searching their face for the moment it clicks. And right there, inside the explaining, you notice it happening. You feel the small forward lean in your body, the way your breath shortens, the gentle pressure building behind your words. You see the childhood strategy running live, the one that once learned love arrived when someone finally got you. You watch yourself reaching, while the reaching is still unfolding, and you keep breathing, not stopping the words, just seeing the need move through you like a familiar current. Later, you're in a team meeting. You present a simple idea. A colleague looks puzzled and offers a completely different interpretation. The old voice whispers, "They don't get it. Explain more." You open your mouth and the clarification begins to flow automatically, polished and patient. The conditioning is smooth, well practiced. But this time, you catch the moment, the reaching begins. You feel the exact second, your energy shifts forward, the micro tightening in your chest, the subtle editing of your tone to make it more understandable. The childhood rule, be clear, be seen, be validated, is right there, operating in plain sight while you sit in the meeting room. You watch your own hand gesture a little wider, your sentence lengthen, and you stay present inside the impulse without leaving the moment. You're scrolling through messages at night. Someone close to you replied in a way that feels dismissive. The old pattern says, send a longer message, make sure they understand your heart. Your thumbs hover, already drafting the explanation. Resting in the misunderstanding feels unbearable, like something unfinished. And again, you notice it while it's happening. The tightness in your stomach when you consider leaving it unsaid. The faint urgency that rises, the belief that being misunderstood equals being unseen. You watch the conditioned need. Your worth is in being correctly perceived, playing out in real time. You feel the pull to reply, the automatic reach for connection through clarity, and you simply witness it without acting yet. You're at a family gathering. An old story comes up. The way you were as a child. And someone describes it differently than you remember. The old role slides on. Explain your truth, make them see it your way. You almost launch into the familiar defense, the careful recounting, so they will finally understand who you really were. But this time, the awareness is there inside the moment. You feel the impulse to correct, to clarify, to be known accurately. You notice the familiar ache of, if they just understood, everything would be okay. The childhood survival strategy is right there, alive and breathing. The one that once believed safety came from being correctly seen. You watch yourself almost step into the explanation, and you stay with the noticing itself. Later that evening, you're alone, replaying a conversation from earlier in the day. The mind wants to rehearse what you should have said differently so they would have understood. The old loop begins again, mental drafting, refining, imagining their eventual nod of recognition. Your body tenses slightly, even in the quiet room. And again you catch it mid-thought, the subtle contraction, the automatic mental reaching, the belief that peace arrives only when the other person finally gets it. You notice the pattern while it's still spinning, soft and familiar, and you remain there, breathing inside the awareness. Or you're on a walk with a friend, and they share their view on something important to you. It's different from yours. The old conditioning whispers, speak up, bridge the gap, make sure they see where you're coming from. You feel the words forming before you even decide to speak them. You notice the micro-habit right as it begins. The slight quickening of your pulse, the way your pace adjusts, the gentle pressure to connect through understanding. The childhood rule that said being understood equals being loved is running live. And you see it without shame, just soft recognition. You post something honest on social media, a small reflection about your day, your feelings, your truth. Within minutes, a comment appears that completely misreads you. The old conditioning surges. Explain, clarify, defend your posts so they will finally see what you really meant. Your fingers are already typing a detailed reply before you even realize it. And right there, in the glow of the screen, you notice it happening. You feel the quickening in your chest, the automatic urge to correct the narrative, the quiet fear that being misunderstood online somehow makes your experience less real. You watch the reaching unfold in real time, the way your posture shifts forward, the small sigh as you edit the reply to sound kinder yet still clear. And you stay with the awareness instead of disappearing into it.
You receive feedback at work that feels off base. The person delivering it clearly didn't grasp your intention. The old pattern whispers. Schedule a follow-up. Lay out the full context. Make sure they understand your approach. You feel the familiar pull to book that extra meeting, to prepare slides, to prove your point. But this time the awareness is alive inside the moment. You notice the micro surge of energy toward explanation, the tightening in your jaw, the childhood echo that said, if they don't get you, you're not safe. You watch the impulse rise and breathe through it without immediately acting, seeing the pattern while it's still warm and alive. You're in a quiet disagreement with your partner. The topic is small, yet the need to be understood feels enormous. You start building your case, choosing words that will finally make them see your side. The conditioning is so smooth it feels almost loving. And again, you catch it mid-sentence. The subtle forward lean of your shoulders, the way your voice rises just slightly in pitch, the internal story that says only their full understanding will bring peace. You see the entire childhood strategy, the one that once believed connection required perfect comprehension, operating live in your nervous system. You remain there, watching gently, creating space even as the words continue to flow. Scene after scene, day after day, the same gentle loop. The need doesn't shout. It simply reaches. In the extra sentence, in the longer text, in the mental replay, in the careful tone, in the late night reply, in the follow-up meeting, in the defended post. And now, more and more, you're catching the reaching while it's still happening. Not to yank it back violently, but to feel its familiar shape in your chest while life keeps moving forward. The awareness doesn't kill the need. It simply sits beside it, breathing, watching, creating the tiniest sliver of space where something new can eventually breathe too. Then one unordinary moment arrives. You're about to explain again. About to send the longer message. About to rehearse the perfect clarification in your head. The impulse is so familiar. It almost feels comforting. The reaching, the refining, the quiet hope that this time they will finally get it. And this time the seeing is complete. Not dramatic, not a lightning bolt. Just a full, quiet, present moment recognition. This is the old thing running me right now. You see the need to be understood so clearly while it's still moving. The tightening, the reaching, the automatic search for recognition, that it loses its invisibility. You're not judging it later or analyzing it from afar. You are seeing it live, in the middle of its dance, as it shapes your next breath and your next word. The loop is still there, but you are no longer completely inside it. You are watching it from a millimeter of new space. A small, almost imperceptible distance has opened up. In that quiet gap, the need and the awareness exist side by side. You feel both the pull and the presence of something that is simply watching.
So you do something almost ridiculously small. You let the sentence end exactly as it came out. No extra clarification, no added examples. You press send on the shorter message, the one that feels incomplete but honest. You close the chat without explaining further and say softly to yourself, that's enough. You stay silent in the conversation when the old urge to bridge the gap rises, allowing the misunderstanding to simply exist for a moment. No big declaration, no life-changing announcement, just a tiny, almost casual different choice, made while the old need is still whispering. The difference is barely visible from the outside, but inside, something has shifted by 1 degree. A quiet turning point. A small breath of freedom. And then, there is space. Not euphoria, not a permanent breakthrough, just space. A small, quiet room where the need to be understood used to fill every corner. You can breathe inside it. You can watch the old reaching try to start again. And you can smile at it softly like you would at an old habit that no longer owns the house. The day keeps going. Life keeps being ordinary. Conversations continue. Misunderstandings still happen, yet something feels different. A little more room. A little more now. And for now, that is enough.